Good evening. We call to order the regular meeting of the West Valley City Council. We note that we have all council members present and participating tonight. As we have established our tradition, we do have a inside the city video. And we'll have that now. Great.
What we have set up here is our cone course. The officers, it consists of a lot of backing up, some serpentine, a lot of just practical driving skills that they have to do. What we're going to have you guys do is we'll teach you the course, have an instructor in the car while you guys go through the course, and then we let you take the wheel on the course as well.
Take a touch and then turn and accelerate.
Oh my gosh, Starsky and Hutch.
It is going good. We're having fun.
This is the best night ever.
It's good. It's good.
It's a lot of fun. Very, very, very interesting. Learned a lot of things I didn't know. Got to do a lot of things I've never done before. They're definitely worth it.
You know, they taught us a lot of stuff, safety, so, and I did a lot of, I learned a lot from them.
Okay, so go ahead and back up straight, completely straight. All right, a little more.
Exhilarating, it scared me. Better than Lagoon. I have truly enjoyed it. I loved it. It's been very informative. I needed it because I would like to tell the public who our police department is.
Interesting. Thank you. Let's see. First, we need to take care of our minutes of September 28th.
I'll move for approval of those minutes.
Second?
Okay. No more comments, then without objection, the minutes will be approved. Hearing no objection, that was unanimous. Next, we have our comment period. For the public, we have several individuals who signed up, and I guess I should mention, just looking out, there's not a lot of people here, but we do follow the guidelines encouraged that if you are joining us here in our meeting, that you wear a mask or social distance by spreading out among the seats. We encourage those so that there are not any questions about anyone being safe. Some people, because we invite the public and everyone has different viewpoints on that, but we can accommodate both those who want to wear masks and those who don't. So, okay. Thank you. With that then, we'll start. I think we have a couple maybe new people We just remind you that all comments are directed to the mayor. It's not question and answer. It's not debate. It's your time to share your thoughts. The council may or may not respond to anything. With that, we have a timer, and if you'll just make note of that as you're presenting your comments. With that, then, we'll start with Alan Nauman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you mind if I switch your name tags?
Are we backwards? We're seeing if anybody's awake.
Just trying to help. My name's Alan Nauman, and I actually was here 2 years ago when we unanimously got a vote for HB 411. And now the hard part is upon us, a big decision, a huge leap for the city to join 15 other jurisdictions in the state of Utah, so you won't be all by yourself. It might cost you a little money to join the party, but it could be one of the biggest accomplishments we make as a state, and West Valley, one of the biggest decisions West Valley City can make towards clean energy. Will it cost a little more? It might, but the alternatives are what matter. Fossil fuels are definitely going to cost more. Threatening with a carbon tax, what have you, this small increase that may happen may be the best long-term decision at any rate. 2 cents more, 5 cents more per kilowatt hour. Rocky Mountain Power won't say, but they know a range. They can tell us a range. It's going to be between this and this, but they won't say it. Facts are on the ground. You're not alone. I'm asking the city to take this huge leap, and I'm really glad to announce, I don't know if you know, that the Sustainability Department of Harmons is coming out in support of this HB 411 process. And they are asking Orem to do the same thing. And so they'll have 5 of their stores in cities so they can have an easier track. They won't have to buy solar from me. I'm a solar contractor. I don't win by this agreement, except that our collective power is cleaner. I'd rather the city buy from me, but you might not. I'm a small company. But Rocky Mountain Power can buy it from the big boys at a cheaper price, and it's better for everybody. So this is my trade for 12 years in solar. I know a little bit about it, and I think that I am sorry to see Mr. Rock is gone, so I wanted to follow up on some information on some of the homework over the years and on why or why not. It's hard for me to get the information from the website when I just did the search in the agendas trying to find information. But so that's what I wanted to say in a nutshell, that I also have an event this Saturday it's a Drive Electric Week, encouraging electric car looky-loos to come and see and ask questions. This Saturday, you're all invited. In fact, you could even speak if you like. If you keep it short, like mine, less than mine, maybe 5 minutes or less, but you're welcome to participate this Saturday from 10 to 2. We'll be right out in the backyard in the parking lot here at the City Hall for our Drive Electric Week event. So I hope you join me. And I just wanted to also say that the West Valley City is big enough as a city that we could consider a sustainability department. Mr. Rock was, in doing several things. I don't know what, but I know his tasks were other than sustainability in particular. And I think we're a big enough city that we can really seriously think about what is West Valley City's path to the future. How green do we really want to be as a city? And I think, a sustainability department, how small is reasonable for this size city. And I think I've covered everything that I had intended. And I just want to say that polls do show that people will spend a little more for better products. We know organic groceries You know, they said, no way, it's never going to happen, but it happened. People will spend more for a better product. And so it's true for, we want clean air. People will spend more to have clean air, and they will spend a little more on to have clean energy. And Harmons is a perfect example. That's true. It's not just myself, because I'm in the solar industry. It is most citizens. If the questions are posed in a certain way and not confused, most people will say, heck yes, please, let's do some more of that. So that is it in a nutshell. I'm asking you to take a big leap. It's a big leap, but you're not alone. And you probably can't make a better deal with Rocky Mountain Power by yourself. There may be some people who think you could, but my time is almost out. So it's better to be in the collective with everybody. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Been a long 2 years.
Next is Kirk Lowe.
Mayor and council members, this is my first time, so I hope I don't step on any protocol toes.
Oh, no,
But
that'll be fine.
I was considering xeriscaping our yard this year to help save water. And in the process, going up to the South Jordan Water Conservancy District, I learned a lot from them. I took some online classes from them. But the thing I learned, that West Valley City is the only city that has not been out there to take a tour or to learn about their local scapes plans, which is kind of disappointing when all the other cities have. I would look at West Valley to be a leader instead of followers. I've seen in several online council meetings that, well, we were waiting to see what this did. We were waiting to see what that did. That's not going to get you very far. But I'd like to see something done in that direction. I talked to the planning lady here and talked about the 40% of the this and that. And she told me it wasn't that much to have green in the front yards, but you have to have some. And quite honestly, the landscaped yards that just have small areas of grass and more flowers and bushes and that are a lot prettier than just having grass out there. You know, combination of things. So I'd encourage you to at least go talk to them and see what you can learn. She told me that when I told her I was from West Valley, she says, yeah, we get a lot of people from there that have been fined. So I don't know what their yards look like, of course, but that's kind of, I would think you'd go at least learn about it, somebody to do that. The second thing I would like to bring up is that I live way out on the west side, almost to Magna. And the police out there don't seem to be coming through the neighborhoods like they used to. Maybe they're shorthanded. I don't know. But we've got a stop sign out there that is always ran. In the mornings before light, in the dark, people are running that stop sign when the high school kids are walking down to the bus stop. It's just gonna, somebody's gonna get hit and killed. Because they do, they just fly, they don't look, they just fly. I've seen 2 close calls there already between 2 cars. Broad daylight, they just don't look. And I don't know what else to say. I would just like to see some more police in the neighborhoods, not necessarily down at Walmart or someplace else. You know, you can see 3 or 4 cars parked there on different days, but that's about all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Daryl Curtis.
Yeah, Daryl Curtis, 3860 South Marcia Drive in West Valley. Where we live is I'm right there by Mountain View Corridor. The new Selma Bridge crosses over Mountain View Corridor, and there's not a stop sign on the Marcia Drive. And people just go over the little bump and just keep driving probably about 20, 30 miles an hour through there. So the neighborhood, we would like to see a stop sign, a 4-way stop sign put there to help stop. You know, it may not prevent everyone from driving fast over those bumps, but it may preclude someone from driving too fast and then also missing the stop sign and causing some other problems. So before there is an accident on that intersection, we'd like to as a community, would like to see something done there. With that, with Mountain View Corridor, I've mentioned before the engine brakes issue. I talked to a neighbor and she mentioned that it's a county regulation that they shouldn't be using the engine brakes. So it's not just a city, it's a county. And she indicated that if she can catch them, then she will report them to the company that the driver is working for, and that company, if we report them to the county and other things, can be fined and some other things. So I would like to have some better policing or something. I don't know. By the time I hear them and I would get over there, the truck would already be passed. So we would need some type of camera or something that can record the sound as well, because it is very loud and it's happening every day. I would say every day I hear a big semi go down. And even if I'm inside the house, you can hear it very loudly. So it's really affecting our neighborhood. It's affecting the neighborhood all on both sides of Mountain View. So I'd like to see something done if possible. If nothing else, it'd be nice to have, even if they could put the signs up saying, engine brakes are enforced. Maybe they're not, but at least it would be something that would provide some other information. And the last thing I would like to bring up is just because of the noise, people will move, people will relocate because of the noise. I don't want to move. I don't want to have that, but it is affecting our community. It's affecting what we can do and cannot do. And some people move to West Jordan, South Jordan, Ogden, Huntsville, wherever they're going to move to, because they don't want to live here associated with that. And so we are driving people out if we don't act, if we don't respond. So I like to just make sure that we do what we can, policing it more and helping just our community. I know it affects other communities because I'm sure people have moved because of Bangerter and some other issues. So anyway, I just like to make sure to bring this to your attention and make sure that there's something we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jim Visak.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Good evening, Mayor and Council. As I was going up, don't say good morning, don't say good morning. So it was in my head. Once again, HB 411, let's get a seat at the table at least and be part of it. Brought it up last week. Food truck takeover thing at the last one was Wednesday night. Was very, very disappointing. If there was 50 people total for the 3 hours there, it was kind of sad. It would have been nice if the city would have did, or Park and Rec, once again, a little forethought, had an event that they ended. The 4 vendors that showed up, 2 of them left early because they figured they need to make $100 an hour. And that wasn't happening. It was sad. I like those events. I like going out to those. I think Park and Rec could have done something better next year for these guys. Our park use, Ms. Day did a big presentation. Our park use is not just used by West Valley City. We get lots of people. I've been out in the parks talking to people, lots of people in from Magna, up from Draper, West Jordan. We get a lot of people using our parks. That's why it's important for our parks to be maintained, to be kept clean, the trash be emptied. I hear we're changing some water-wise stuff. There's nothing worse than going past city buildings, county buildings, state buildings, or our parks and seeing the water on when it's raining. And it does happen. I think we should have our builders, when they're building a big development, put in money into the park fund other than the impact fees, such as the Decker Lake project that's going in, that I said, that's something I would live in. They're doing $500,000 to the county to clean up Decker Lake. And if that doesn't work, they're giving it to West Valley City. We should insist that our builders do a similar thing to help take some of the burden off the taxpayers of West Valley City. Now to the West Valley Family Fitness Center. They had a VIP members only night the other night. It was a pretty fun event, had to cost the facility several $1,000s. We learned that Jamie Young does not know the difference between red and white tickets. It was kind of funny. She would say numbers up, or she would say red ticket, be holding up a white ticket. It was kind of interesting. We were laughing in the back about it. But they can spend several $1,000s to put on these events, which was fun. There was a lot of fun things there, and the people like winning the prizes and stuff. But they can't raise the employee salaries to keep the employees to be there to keep the locker rooms clean. They did put new shower curtains up recently in the men's locker room. They did get the trash out of the lockers finally, but the lockers are still appear not to be cleaned when I'm there. The shower area, I have pictures, dirt on the wall. How hard is it to go in there with a pressure washer? They do have a pressure washer because before they did the event, they pressure washed the whole front to get the trash and leaves and stuff out of there. So you do have a pressure washer. Go in there and pressure wash the walls, make it look better instead of ghetto. That this is one of our crown jewels in the city, and it needs to be treated like that. Trash in the front is better. It's still not perfect. I think it should be a regular thing. Once an hour, they go out and pick up, at least in the gutter in the front, in the immediate area. It is much better, but it could still be a little bit better. We were promised the mountain bike thing before the end of the summer. Everybody keeps using COVID as an excuse. Builders are still doing that stuff. We were promised the dinosaur thing in April. It was going to open. Oh no, we delayed it till May. Well, now it's delayed till next year. Once again, we're talking about energy cost. In the summertime, in the men's locker room, they kept the temperature at 73.5 degrees, which is perfect. Now it's at 62.5. A little cold, especially when you get out of the showers. A little bit better management. If people cared at the facility, things might be running better. That's all I have.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who had public comment this evening? Seeing no one else, we'll close that and come back. Mr. Powell, any comments?
No comments. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Council?
I'll just make one comment.
Okay.
So for the gentleman, we are involved in Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District because I sit on the board of directors. So we do have an in. I do have and have presented the information, and our landscape policy pretty much conforms. And we're going to make some more changes to it, but we are working in that direction. So I don't know why they said nobody from West Valley knows what's going on out there. But thank you for your input.
Yeah, I would echo that. I've actually been to the facility there and gone through the tour, talked with them on multiple occasions and had multiple presentations on that. We've had some interesting discussions as well. But I must admit I did that as me. It wasn't the council together. And we've had multiple discussions on that here in the council as well. And we're still very interested. Our staff as well has become well-versed in that and have done a lot of analysis. So they're very familiar with that, and we are concerned about it. As far as fines, it's always humorous. People like to use an excuse to not do things, which is, I think, some who've said, well, I want to just let my yard die. We say, no, we are in a drought, but there's wise ways to do it. So we hope people will be wise. With that then, if there's no more comments, I don't see any. We'll go to our public hearing. This is on our fiscal year 2021-2022 budget, our new budget that we are now operating in this year. You will note, for those who have looked at that we have a pretty significant list of items and some very large items in what we refer to as rollovers. Rollovers are items that were in the budget and approved last year, and the money set aside within the budget, but they were not completed. Projects sometimes just don't end with our fiscal year end. So a lot of those are rolled over to this next year. That was the vast majority of them. And then there were some others that we had discussed as a council, which came up during the year. And there were grants that were received and donations given. We have to put those into the budget. Those are not things we can plan on because grants are not always predictable. And sometimes projects, and one dear to me, of course, the Veterans Memorial Park project, you know, we were unable to predict exactly when that would happen. Things came together actually fairly quickly towards the latter part of this year. But I would not want to wait to put that in the budget next year. We wanted to get that going. In fact, since I mentioned that, we are still working towards November 11th for the dedication. Might not make it, but it should be shortly after that, if not. So that first phase is progressing well. That is the introduction to the budget. You know, we do these things routinely. There's nothing unusual with any of these specific items that I'm aware of. Any council member, though, may comment on any item that is noted in our budget, these changes, or if there's anything Mr. Pyle wants to highlight. And of course, the public can as well, but so if nothing else, then I will open the public comment period for our reopening of the budget and considering ordinance 21-58. Yes. And anyone, this is open to anyone who wants to comment on it.
You knew I was going to have to say something. Jim Visock. Whoever put this together this time, it's the most informed reopening of a budget in the 3 or 4 years that I've been looking into it. I appreciated all the rollover stuff. It showed where the rollover is coming from. The only question I had was the $3 million for the veterans. It looks like it was contributions that came in and went and being paid out. If I'm wrong, that's one thing though. I think spending the money, since we got so much from the COVID and stuff, getting that thing going. I drove by it the other day and I don't know if it's going to be ready either. So, but that's, I just wanted to thank whoever put it together. It was the best put one together. So, very informative.
Anyone else? Seeing no other comments, we'll close the public comment period and bring it back to the council. Since you made mention of the 300,000, that was the donation to the city by the Veterans Hall Foundation. And by the way, the council is very aware, but I will mention it again. I do have a conflict since I chair that board. So council.
Move to approve ordinance 21-58.
Properly before us. I think it picked you up even if your microphone was off.
Second.
Hearing no or seeing no further comments, then we'll turn to our Assistant City Recorder to have the roll call vote.
Councilman Fatisi Manu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Bueller.
Aye.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfelt.
Yes.
Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is Resolution 21-175. This is one of these routine items that we have done many of them on the 4700 South project. This is for small real estate purchase agreement, warranty deed, public utility easement, temporary construction easement, similar to many others that we have done as we look to do some work on 4700 South. These need to be put in place before that work begins. And so this is one of them we have tonight. Nothing unusual about it. So with that introduction to the council.
Move for approval of resolution 21-175.
Second.
Hearing no further comments to our assistant city recorder for the roll call vote.
Councilman Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Lang.
Yes.
Councilman Bueller.
Aye.
Councilman Hune.
Aye.
Councilman Christensen.
Yes.
Councilman Nordfeld.
Yes.
And Mayor Bigelow.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now I said assistant. I don't know if the right term is acting for tonight, but Tara Smith, thank you for being here tonight with the absence of our regular city recorder. That completes our work. There is no need for a closed session. This will complete the regular city council meeting. I did remember. And we do have a very brief meeting shortly following this, which the council serves as the board of a redevelopment agency. So with that, a motion to adjourn without objection. Our regular city council meeting will be adjourned. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned and it's unanimous.
I call to order the regular RDA meeting. Note that we've had an opening ceremony and a roll call vote. Our roll call and all are in attendance. We have our first item on the agenda, our minutes of September 14th, 2021. Do we have any comments or a motion?
Move to approve the minutes of September 14th.
Second.
Thank you. We'll put it up to, if there's any objections, please say no. Otherwise, the minutes will pass. Hearing no objections, our minutes pass. Do we have a report from the Chief Executive Officer?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a public hearing tonight, an opening of our budget. Would you like to introduce that, Mr. Pyle?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. This is a regular quarterly budget opening, as we also just handled in the regular city meeting. On the budget opening for the RDA in this quarter, there's one item. The one item is a transfer of money from the general fund to fund some grant projects having associated with some businesses here in the city. It might be good to describe the path by which that happened, or the decision-making process a little bit. Originally, when it became apparent that there was going to be funds from the federal government associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, this project or this program was conceived at that time. And the intent was to use some of those funds. We would have done that. However, expenses were assigned otherwise to the COVID-19 funds from the various sources they came from. That resulted with extra funds being allotted to the general fund unreserved fund balance. That enabled the funding in the manner in which you see it now. So that's where that money comes from. Thought it might just be helpful to describe that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, do we have any comments from the board? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing to address the 21-22 budget. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing and either take comment from the board or a motion.
Move for approval of resolution 21-10.
Second.
Thank you. Having that, Ms. Smith, would you please take your roll call vote?
Mr. Fitzie Umanu.
Aye.
Mr. Bueller.
Aye.
Mr. Hune.
Aye.
Mr. Bigelow.
Aye.
Mr. Christensen.
Yes.
Mr. Nordfelt.
Yes.
Chairwoman Lang.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We have no further business, so a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Any objection? Hearing none, we